So he created a device to measure the energy produced by healers. And he picked some people who did the kind of hands-on healing, where they'd hold their hands over somebody. And so he had this device that was pulsing. It was a mechanical device. And he asked the healers to hold their hands above the device and to set the intention to increase the pulses that this device was emitting. Well, when they did it, the pulses increased by 50,000. That's quite a lot. And the increased rate remained for 5 minutes. And so he concluded that directed thoughts do produce demonstrated physical energy. Another scientist or psychologist, this one was Gary Schwartz, he and his colleagues uncovered evidence that human beings are both receivers and transmitters of quantum signals, and that directed intention appears to manifest itself as both electrical and magnetic energy, and it produces a stream of photons, ordered photons, visible and measurable by sensitive equipment. And remember, photons are kind of like little beams of light. And he believed that our intentions operate at a highly coherent frequencies, and they change the very molecular makeup and bonding matter in a subatomic world. So that's saying in, the scientific language that what we believe, what we intend, where we have that focused energy, it affects all matter, the matter that we're intending it to affect. And one more gentleman, a German physicist named Fritz Albert Popp, did a study that showed that all living things emitted a constant tiny current of photons, tiny particles of light. So anything alive, if you could measure it, you had the correct instruments, because usually it's not visible to our human eye, it would emit this tiny current of light. And the light, which is stored in the DNA of cells, changed when someone was seriously ill. He found that cancer patients had fewer photons, almost as if their light was going out. And when healers worked with designated cancer patients, with the conscious thought not of killing the cancer cells, but of bringing them back to their original prototype of a healthy cell, that the conscious thought of the healers with this intention of doing this created waves of light, and some of the most ordered waves possible, which was what was needed to correct these cells gone wild. So science is proving it again. Thought, belief, emotion, intention create what's in our life and can change what's in our life. So if we've got some hell in our life, we can change it. We can heal it. We can reveal the truth. Another study from the National Institute of Health, the NIH, funded work for Konstantino Korokov, who's a professor of quantum physics at St. Petersburg Technical University in Russia. And in one experiment, he took readings of healers while they were doing their healing work, and then he asked them to send various emotions, such as love and hate, to patients. And he could actually measure and see the changes in the amount of light in the patients as they received this in the discharge from their cornea. So his work and that of Pop and other scientists shows that thought really does seem to augment or diminish one's light. We can even say one's life force. So that's the good news and the bad news, right? It's wonderful because it says things can change. It's hard because we have to own our part in it. As I went through the book, it took me some time to understand it, for I'm not a scientist. So there was some struggle. Parts of it were really easy, and parts of it were, okay, Mary Jo, let's read this part again. And try to distill it. But over and over again, the different experiments proved belief, thought, intention, prayer can change the results, the circumstances in our lives. There was another study that this Dr. William Tiller did, the Stanford physicist, where this was one I had to read like 6 times to get it down to, okay, how could I explain it without reading the 10 pages that said it? But he felt like electromagnetic fields affect the cellular metabolism, the way our cells metabolize. And he said, if thoughts are just another form of energy, then what if he attempted to charge something using human intention? That would be the form of energy. And so he constructed these 2 identical devices, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about them, because if you want to really know scientific details, you read it. The black boxes had an electrical programmer memory, EEPROM component, and 3 quartz oscillators. Okay, so that's a little bit of the scientific part. But what he did was, he and his wife and 2 other scientists who had much experience meditating, he took one of the boxes and he asked them to meditate and send intentions to this one electronical box. And one of the things we teach in prayer treatment is be specific. Don't make it so general that the universe doesn't know what to do. So he gave these scientists instructions that were really specific about, how to, what to intend for these different elements in the electrical box, as well as that they were going to put fruit fly larvae in the boxes, because fruit flies are, that's a great thing that the scientists can use for experiments. And his overall intention that they were to send was that these larvae that were put in the one box would develop faster than the larvae put in the control box.